What's going on? Welcome to Totally Blitz Podcast. We're in this bitch about to recap what a crazy week 15 of the NFL it was. And I mean, we had Thursday night blowout, Saturday games throughout the whole day, Sunday, and all the way to the Monday night football upset, which kind of fresh in a lot of people's mind right now. But I mean, as always, go down, like and subscribe, comment your thoughts on week 15. And if your team won, let us hear it down in the comments. And if your team lost, let us hear why. Is it the refs? Is it your players? We gotta know. But I'm Paul, pick 'em, win 'em, and I'm joined with.
Hey man, you already know it's your boy Kev Waterboy Savoy, fresh off of some camera difficulties. But hey man, fuck week 15, fuck week 14, fuck any week that the Falcons fucking lost. Fuck. Paul, I was so upset this fucking week. But it's another great week of football. It's fun. We got football Friday. We got football Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Great football on fucking Monday. So like you can't be too mad, but it's like, damn, there goes my fucking season.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, overall, we did pretty good. You went 11-5. I went 12-4, which means I won this week. But overall, you won every. This is my third week one. So
This is the fucking Eagles' fault, but we're not gonna get into that.
yeah, I mean, shit. We'll get into that a little bit, but as y'all know, I dogged up them Seahawks. They came through. I almost dogged up the Texans. If you was listening, I gave out two free dogs right there. Um, and then Kev had the Cowboys, where we're getting to that ass whooping the Bills gave them. And then the locks, I went 1-1. I took both the birds. Ravens came through. Falcons didn't. You took the Eagles and you took the Browns. Browns came through. Eagles didn't. But overall, how did you like the week, Kev?
I mean, it was another astonishing week. I think the way the weeks go is that every week has a different verb for what the fuck went down. I think this week was astonishing. That Bears versus Browns game was crazy. Eagles versus Seahawks was crazy. The Bills whooping the fuck out of Cowboys. Nobody saw that coming. 49ers making all types of crazy ass plays. Davis Ward pick six. You know we love those.
Chiefs
So it was
Patriots
a very
was low key a ball game before like it wasn't like that shit was interesting, very interesting like third quarter.
fact. So like it was very much it was a good week. But damn, my Falcons fucked up. That shit is crazy. Damn, we fucked up that. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like usually I don't trip about losses. I think the wins and losses happen all the time. It's only an L if you don't learn from it. Nah, we fucked it. We fucked up. Like we really, really, really fucked up. We could have snuck in and really made some shit happen, but we fucked up this week. I ain't gonna lie.
And we start off with that game because 7-9, lowest scoring game on the slate. Panthers get their second win on the season, 2-12. Falcons fall to 6-8. Now they're pretty solid behind the Saints and the Bucks, who are both 7-7 right now. Man, I thought about it in the shower, Kev. I think Desmond Riddler is a quarterback that if you watch him at TV from the TV, you're sitting there and you try to give him all the excuses type shit. Like you're sitting there like, man, it's not all his fault. It's this and that. All this is going on. It's raining. The team isn't all that good. But I have a feeling if you actually go to the Falcons games and shit, like if you're sitting in the stands and you're watching him and he fucks up like the what he does, like I feel like you hate him if you're there live. But if you're at TV, you kind of build him like, oh, it's not too big of a deal. But if you ever watch that man live, you're probably gonna be burning, like you ripping your jersey off your chest during his when he fucks up. Like that's how I started thinking about it. I'm like, you watch him in live, you probably say, fuck it, I need a new quarterback immediately.
Facts. Literally. I this explains everything, man. See, Paul put this in the group chat earlier. And then I was looking at the fit, man. Nigga said sweatpants with low top 12s. Get this nigga off my fucking team. And I was just like, I actually exactly what you mean now. But now I can see because like you want to make so many excuses for Brody, but I remember a graphic came up and it was like he has 17 turnovers and 15 touchdowns.
Yeah, because people only look at the interception numbers, but you start adding in the fumbles too.
And they always do it in the most inopportune times. And you can, I'd add the safeties as a turnover too. Me personally. So
Multiple
I would,
multiple
yeah,
weak safeties.
yeah,
That's a
like I would
crazy
say,
thing.
there's probably been like three safeties this season minimum. Like, so I even add those in as I'd even add those in. So it's what it is. It is what it is. We're a promising team. Now the questions went from as Arthur Smith won't get fired as long as there wasn't anything catastrophic happening, and it's like, oh, we just lost to the 1-15 Panthers, and it's like, oh, that was kind of catastrophic. So now everything's hot. Like any calmness or coolness we had going into the last week is gone. Now we really got to fight for our lives. We got to fight for our right to party right now.
Yeah, but that's like you're sitting there and like people are trying to come for Arthur Smith's head, and you come in and it's like, nah, bro, like
Yeah, just
this
chill.
is what's
Just chill.
going on, and then all of a sudden you say something like, oh, blah blah blah, you try to give him an excuse, could be some random shit like, oh, well, blah 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 was sick, and then they fire back, you thinking you right, trying to defend him, and then they're like, he wasn't even sick, and you're like, ah, fuck, like, never mind, like continue going after him. Like then you have to sit back like fuck. I try to stand up for you, big dog, but
Yeah,
I was fed wrong information.
it's because he does cool shit. Like he turned Kyle Pitts into some robot, some like android cyborg type motherfucker that can do anything and stand out wide first year. He turned Tyler Algier into a 1,000 yard running back. And this year, he turned Cordero Patterson into a Swiss Army knife that can play at all positions of the ball except throw that motherfucker. Like he does some cool shit. He was able to win games off of running. In the beginning, he was able to win games off of rushing the ball and playing good defense. He does so much cool shit, and he has promising game plans and things. We just don't win games, and we can. If we do win games, we can't stack wins. So that's where everybody's frustrations come from. But we'll see what the fuck happens. I'm a firm believer you can't fire somebody unless you already have somebody else
They're talking
better
about
for the
Kirby
sideline.
Smart from Georgia.
You see, now that's where we fuck up. Like how many times does that work? But we'll see what happens. But I don't want to talk too much about my Falcons. I just know that we could have been 8-6 right now, but instead we're 6-8.
Well, then from his team to my team, we're kind of jumping around the block here. But from my team was on the opposite spectrum. 30-0 the motherfucking Jets. 30-0 they ass. And exactly how on the pregame show I was hoping it would go. I was like, I hope Tyreek's not going to play, and I hope Tua and Waddle and company go out there and dominate and ball. And that's exactly what happened. Like, uh, the thing that I think encompassed the whole game perfectly was it was a third down and something, and Quentin Williams gets the sack on Tua, and Quentin Williams gets up and does the Waddle celebration after getting the sack. We punt the ball. Our defense stomps their ass out. We get the ball back. Very first play, 65-yard touchdown to Jalen Waddle. And it was like that. That to me was like the Jets made one little stop on it. We were already up by like 10-0. They made that one little stop. They started trying to do a little mocking us celebration. You know what we did? We fucking sparked their ass right back. And then that's why I think we didn't take the gas off the pedal until the like late fourth quarter.
Did you see the owner? The owner after that play when the owner did it, he was in that bitch. He was in the owner was
Clean with it.
Yeah.
All ages are welcome to Waddle. But all in all, like great game overall. I know it's the Jets, and everyone's gonna try to downplay this win, but like this is the same Jets defense that beat like single-handedly almost beat the Eagles. Like their defense doesn't allow anyone to really dominate. So for us to dominate without Tyreek showed I was like, okay, we're right where we need to be. And I don't know if you saw Tua after the touchdown. He basically he did the little thing like keep talking that stuff about me. Like, and I was like, oh, my boy Tua gonna like talk his shit.
Yeah. It's so funny that you like were like so like I remember when we first started this podcast, and you used to tell me how hard people hated on Tua, and I'd be like, Paul, who the fuck cares about the Dolphins? And like now I'm looking like, oh damn, this nigga Paul was right.
Anytime they could bring, and it's like they can never. It's always backhanded compliments. It'll be like, yeah, they have a very great offense now that Tyreek's there. Like it's a backhanded compliment. It's like you're giving us a compliment but smacking us in the mouth at the same time. You're making it sound like there's only one hitter.
Yeah. And lastly, I will say that ass whooping that y'all gave them, there's no more. If you notice, there's no more Aaron Rodgers playing in the season. There's no more talks like that after what y'all just did to them niggas. Because Aaron Rodgers got medically cleared to play on Monday, but like, oh, there's no
They're
reason for him to.
eliminated. Yeah, they're statistically eliminated from the playoffs now. So I think all that hope is dead and gone, and somewhere in South Beach.
Yeah, I'm about to say congratulations, man. That drug money is working.
And then let's start off with the Thursday game. We got our games out of the way. Let's start off Thursday night because this was
Oh
bad.
my god!
I haven't seen something like this since the Broncos came to South Beach. But the Raiders dominating 63-21 over the Chargers on all sides of the ball. They
And they
dominated.
didn't they didn't score the 21 to like what the fourth quarter type shit. Like I swear it was like six. It was like 49-0 at one
It
point.
was 49-0 until Palmer caught that 80-yard catch touchdown. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but then the rest of their points came in the fourth. Garbage, all garbage time, right? This game was over. And this is exactly what I said. We both took the Raiders, and exactly like the Chargers. Like, how could you tell us this Chargers team's gonna be motivated at any aspect if now their season's basically over and then Herbert's done? And that's what I think. That team didn't look like they wanted to play football.
Bruh, bruh, these motherfuckers said the fire Brandon Staley before he got fired. But fire Brandon Staley is not enough. Somebody got to shoot his ass. Richard Sherman said, they should fire Brandon Staley at halftime.
Yeah, they should have. They really should have, bro. Like how they be benching quarterbacks at halftime, bro. They should have been like Kellen Moore's taking over as head coach for the rest of this game.
Oh my god! And what was the GM name? Like Tom Palacero or some shit like that.
Yep.
Got him up out of there. Well, yeah, man. This Aslan was terrible. Well, I will say, the Raiders are. I respect them so much on their resilience because you got to remember the team scored 0 points last week, the week before. So you have to respect them for the resilience. And this team's always been a team that if they have the right leaders in there, they can get up and win games. Because we saw that a couple years ago with Rick Bisaccia and Derek Carr and all them. And now we're seeing it right now with Antonio Pierce, Nate O'Connell, and Devontae Adams. And like Devontae Adams and the GM are we having like touching moments. So like you always have to you just have to love this Raiders teams because they figure it out. They're like the Lions, except the Lions have figured it out and they know how to get the new look. The Raiders are just always going to be the Raiders.
And I won't be shocked. This is a way early prediction, but the Panthers don't have a first round pick this year. So like it's not even like they gave it to the Bears. So the Bears have like a top 10 pick and arguably the number 1 pick going into this draft.
Wow.
So and all this talent that's coming out of it. So if they don't get a new quarterback, I'm saying it because Jimmy G's on this contract. I think Jimmy G might be the Panthers quarterback, not to start next season. I think they'll start it with Bryce Young again. But I think by like week 4, that it's going to get real hot if Bryce Young hasn't taken that next step yet. And it's going to be like, okay, go trade. Just like how they were doing Tua. Like, well, we'll trade for Jimmy G. We'll trade for Deshaun Watson. We'll trade for that. I think it's going to be strong ties to Jimmy G going up to the Panthers.
Yeah, no, that'd be crazy. But we'll see what goes down. But and shout out to homie for that one-handed pick six. That shit was crazy.
Yeah. The Chargers put me in a weird spot though because they fired Staley, and we usually like to pick them the week after a coach firing, especially if they don't fuck with the coach. But I don't know if I can bet on this Chargers team moving forward.
No way, no way. And it was crazy to me that I feel like they could have scored the 70 and matched you guys for like the season total, but I really think they said, "Nah, y'all got that."
Yeah, we got that. A primetime game though, Raiders record too.
Nice. I respect it.
Saturday Night Football kind of was a blur. That shit was going on and on. They had fights going on, boxing, UFC,
yeah, it was
football.
There's a whole lot going on.
Yeah, betters galore, bro.
Yeah, and I fucking woke up that morning and fucking got toasted, watched fucking cartoon, had my cartoon and cereal. I was watching the Flashpoint Paradox, crazy movie. But there was just so much going on. Like football came on, then the prelims came on, then the boxing card came on, and I'm watching the highlights from the Jake Paul card the last night. It was crazy. But I will say the only game that was really good was that first game with the Bengals.
That's what I'm gonna talk first. Is the Bengals Vikings overtime thriller where Jake Browning does that shit again. Does that shit again, slams helmet on the ground. Payback for when they cut his ass back in the day, the Vikings did. And even more telling, Jamar Chase got hurt and didn't return to the game. And they're down 17-3 going into the fourth quarter. And that didn't even matter, but it was like, all right, T. Higgins time. Let's get it.
You gotta respect it, man. I mean, we believe in more, which is crazy that they had Jake Browning on the bench and they really played Joe Burrow through injury. So like we see it. I was not expecting the Bengals to win this game, but they really fucked them up. I
Yeah,
think I
and,
picked I think I picked the Bengals, but I wasn't expecting them to win this game for real.
yeah, and now they're 8-6. This is crazy, bro. Like I don't even know what kind of story is gonna happen if they really do make a push. Like it's gonna be some crazy. Like you're not gonna bench Burrow, but it's gonna be like who wants Browning? Like Browning's gonna be the hottest name in the market.
Hell yeah. And then you could probably get like something crazy, like probably a high pick, or even yeah, you could probably only get a pick.
And never forget the Eagles. Nick Foles when Carson Wentz was the MVP, like leading MVP candidate when he gets hurt, and Nick Foles takes over that team and they do their run. Like it can't. It's not something you can just count out anymore.
Listen, and then that speaks on Zach Taylor because consistently they figure it out.
Yeah, but then the next game, both these next games were ass whoopings. But Colts beating the Steelers 30-13. Again, the offense is terrible. No Kenny Pickett, terrible.
I can't wait to watch. I can't wait till at the end of the season and we just look up how many times the Steelers score more than 20 points.
And did you see George Pickens whenever the block he did for on the goal line? Like it would have been the same
Nah,
if he would have actually blocked. Literally, I'm George Pickens, right? Hike just looks over, just puts out one hand, doesn't even shove. This like kind of just like touches his shirt, watches the guy running basically into the guy he's supposed to be blocking.
oh wow!
Yeah,
They ended up set up for a field goal type shit.
yeah, and this is the same George Pickens that walked off the field when Deontay Johnson returned from injury, scored his first touchdown, and he didn't go over to celebrate. He just walked off the field. Same George Pickens on Instagram, deleting all Steelers pictures back a couple weeks ago. Like he's just been Tomlin. Don't I mean you saw what he did with Juju because he was too happy on the Steelers. Motherfucker doing TikToks of joy, and then you got Donald Clean over here who hasn't even like at least Juju had 1,000 yard season was doing shit like.
Right. But Juju also had Big Ben and Antonio Brown was on the other side.
This was Big Ben throwing shit. This was Big Ben getting sacked by
But
dirt. Like this,
but that first year they had like the only thing that was missing was Le'Veon because Le'Veon adjusted.
yeah, he was. AB was there, helping making sure that he could eat off. Don't get me wrong, but like,
They had James Conner, young James Conner eating, Martavius Bryant.
but hey, no, but people are watching film too. Coaches watch this film and they're seeing shit like that. That's not gonna like. Remember Chase Claypool, first season of the Steelers, everyone loved him, and then no one wanted him. He went for like a fifth rounder to come join the Dolphins. Like,
Facts. And then even the Bears didn't want him.
yeah, like I'm just saying, like George Pickens, his stock is that drama, and there's a reason why he fell in the draft because he had off-field issues going into the draft, and then this doesn't help. That's all I'm saying.
No, not at all. I could see him being like a third string quarterback on third string receiver on the Cowboys for some reason. Like just a deep bet. He's gonna end up being a deep bet because just like he just doesn't he just it's gonna be tough for him to get that mesh for the team. But I don't know. We'll see. I think the Steelers just got a lot of figuring out to do right now. They need a quarterback. Big that's a little I think the Steelers in-house, the Steelers front office is a little upset with Big Ben right now for what he said about the about how the Steelers coach is what it is and he's not and they don't have that leader on offense like they do on defense to kind of tell them like yo this is the Steelers football and coach
True
Chuck
though, those are true. That's true.
but I think Coach Chuck Pagano made the best point because he's coming from a coaching mindset. It was like, yeah, I could see it's cool to make sure you speak out, and then if you see something, say something type shit, and you felt that that's cool, Big Ben. But also that like you could also come in here and be like that person that says something like you at least like lights a fire or like shows like the lost people like what the fuck's going on. Like it's everybody. And then he made the point that there's like 20,000 people there's 20,000 people minimum in the stadium, right? Probably like maybe closer to 30 or something. And there's the millions of people watch. There's the hundreds of thousands of people watching on TV. Everybody thinks they have some sort of way to make it. They have some type of strategy for us to win the game. Everybody has their own opinion. Like nigga, you just allow. Yeah, you feel me? Like you could come in this bitch and we could be like close around and stuff like that. Still, I understand you're retired and you're trying to live your family life. But like you could be a voice in this locker room or voice of reason for the team if you wanted to be, not just like saying shit on your podcast.
Yeah, no, it's true. But they both make solid points. I would say because
I think
they
it's
do have
fair.
a young team, especially a young offensive team, where it's kind of hard to have like a real leader. Like Deontay Johnson, I think is the biggest vet on that squad. Like that has like a leadership role.
Hell yeah. But yeah. But let's get it, man. We can't talk Steelers all game.
Yeah. Next one, Lions dominate Broncos 42-17. Goff those 5 touchdowns in the ass whooping they gave the Broncos. I took the Broncos because I said I'm done with the Lions right now. You stuck with them for one more week. It definitely paid off in your favor. But yeah, I mean, they look like the team from 5 weeks ago. They're kind of hard to kind of pinpoint.
I think those are the 2 teams that I'm actually really good at picking and not picking. Because usually I would have told you. Cause I remember telling you like, yo, I got steak in Bronco County. You feel me? What? We're gonna go with my Lions this week. But that's what it was. I think the Lions. I saw a meme where it was like the Steelers. You ever see the dude on the bus, and then there's like the one person crying.
Happy one mad sad.
Yeah. So like it's the Eagles at 10-4 crying sad versus the Lions at 10-4 happy go lucky and really excited to be here type shit. Like that's the Lions that's coming to the dance. So as long as the Lions just continue with the energy that they have, they don't turn the ball over and they just play compelling defense. This team is going to be a force in the playoffs. So these next few games, I just want to see them continuing to just we have high energy and be explosive. Because if they can bring that energy into the playoffs, that's the Lions team we want to see. The Lions team we've seen these last couple of weeks, we don't want to. We can't have those performances in the playoffs. But if this team comes out like this, they'll do it. Because now we forget about the Jared Goof. We forgot about it that fast.
Yeah, and it all comes down to you said it, turnovers. You don't turn over the ball, and this is the Lions that throughout the early weeks in this game, they just didn't turn over the ball, and their offense kept rolling. Versus when they do look bad, it's all due to those turnovers. You're just putting yourself in bad positions.
Hell yeah. But yeah, shout out the Lions, man. But yeah, that's Saturday football for you.
Yep. And then down to Sunday slate. First one we're going to talk about is the overtime game. Titans losing to the Texans. No CJ Stroud, no problem. They go out there with backup Case Keenum. Case Keenum threw a touchdown, and I think it was like his first touchdown thrown since like 2018 or something. It was some crazy stat line. He hasn't thrown a touchdown in some years. And I'm not going to lie, at one point I thought the Titans were going to win it. But then eventually the Texans found their rhythm. And their defense, I think, is the key. I think Derrick Henry was like the first player in the new since 2000 to get total touches in less than 15 scrimmage yards.
This game made me so upset. I can't even remember who I picked in this game. I remember just watching this game like, why the fuck are the Titans fucking this up? Y'all, this is the game that should be in y'all bag. But motherfucking, I think it was literally the Texans defense. They got explosive, they got lit, they got loud, and they made it happen. Because I remember every time we bring up this name on the podcast, I go, Case Keenum? Because like, how the fuck does he come in and win games? And anytime there's been a few times he's come in and handled this. I forgot. I think he played for the Cowboys before this. But
Cowboys, Vikings.
yeah, like this motherfucker could come. Don't forget when he took the Vikings to the fucking NFC Championship and shit like that. Like Case Keenum is just a interesting motherfucker. I just don't understand how the fuck did the Titans blow this?
They're but they blew Derrick Henry up every fucking time he touched that ball. Like they had a mission, and someone pointed out, I forgot to think of this, was the Titans pulled up in their Houston Oilers uniform. So they did a throwback to the Houston Oilers uniform, and the Houston Texans are kind of pissed they can't use it because it's in Houston, but technically the franchise is the Titans franchise. So I think that adds a little extra incentive. Like it's a little bit more of a fire on them boys.
That's bulletin board material right there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, and you did end up taking the Titans. This was the game where you were stuck in between both, and then you're like, well, I'm gonna just go with the favorite because games where I'm stuck in between, if I lean towards the favorite, I typically have a win more. So, but you should have rode the dog with me.
Some bull. I also was not trusting Case Keenum. Like I'm not trusting Will Levis, but I'm definitely not trusting Case Keenum either. I
See,
mean,
at the time of picking, we were under assumption Davis Mills was going to start, and then it came out they were going to go with Case Keenum, even though Davis Mills was starter for all the years, just because they wanted to have a different, like someone else out there type shit.
Okay. That's what it was.
But then our next game, this game was kind of fun. It was a roller coaster of emotions for some teams, but the Packers losing in Lambeau 34-20. Baker Mayfield, first ever visiting quarterback to put up a perfect passer rating in Lambeau Field. That's a crazy thing to think about. Like Lambeau's had so many visiting quarterbacks, and Baker Mayfield is the only one to ever put up a perfect passer rating in there. 381, 4 touchdowns, and every time late in the game, every time the Packers would score, and you would feel like, okay, like 20-17 now, it's a week, just gotta make a stop. Baker Mayfield drives that bitch all the way down, scores a touchdown, and then they fourth quarter they kick the field goal, bring it within a touchdown. We just need to get a stop. Baker Mayfield 52-yard fucking touchdown to David Moore out of all people. You weren't expecting that one. Chris Godwin 150 yards, Mike Evans scoring another touchdown on the season. Like this was a good Bucs team. I wanted to text you like I hate to say it, but this might be the best team in your division.
I mean, he torched them. I'll give them that. I mean, they're hot. They won 3 games in a row. One of them was against my Falcons. I respect it. I respect it. I respect it. It's pretty upsetting. But he torched him. He did his thing. My biggest thing was the fact that Baker Mayfield, there's like underlying stuff that happened with this game. Because do you remember his last trip to Lambeau was with the Browns on Christmas? And remember, I was in LA and he threw 4 interceptions. And I remember we were making a joke because we were like, yeah, bro, he's the gift that kept on giving. Or like Santa's little helper. So for him to come in this bitch again with a different team, go 4 touchdowns, he lit and lightened boys all the way up.
Yeah,
so that's a flex.
They said it was his third time playing in Lambeau in December. First time was with the Browns. Second time was when he filled in for the Rams towards the end of the season last year, and they lost in Lambeau. And then this one with the Bucs, he ends up doing something magical.
Respect it. But yeah, they look good. They have a commanding lead at it's only a 1 game lead, but they have a commanding lead for first right now in the NFC.
Oh no, they tied with the next team we're about to talk about. The Saints beating the Giants 24-6. We didn't get the Tommy DeVito magic. We both kind of knew the Saints was going to win this one. But I mean, it was Derek. I think they said 3 weeks in a row Jimmy G has caught a touchdown. Like that shit should not be happening in 2023.
Yeah, that shit is crazy. That's how you know something's going on right now in the NFL. But this game was interesting just off the face of like we said like yo, I think the Saints should beat up on the fucking Giants. Like, but it sounds so good until it happens, until the game comes and you see Tommy DeVito pull out some fucking shit out of his bag. But I just think the Saints kept them at bay. They did a good job at holding it down, and then they won this game outright.
Yeah, no real spec. I mean, defense spectacular. And then one of them, one of the linemen got a sack, and after sacking DeVito, did this to
Nah,
the
that
camera.
gabagool,
Yeah, the gabagool.
that gabagool.
And that was to me the highlight of the game, to be honest. But yeah, Carr 3 touchdowns leads them boys to victory. Carr looked, they don't have it, but they need to have like a most willing to die award. And I think Derek Carr is my pick for this year's person who was like willing to die on the field before he gets off that motherfucker.
Don't worry, we gonna have our NFL award show.
And then our next one, this was your lock, and it was a heater. It was a close game all game. 20-17, Browns beating Bears. I also was on the Browns, but I didn't lock them up. How did you feel, Kev?
It's one of those games I forgot who I picked, but I just was like watching it like, yo, Browns, do not fuck this up. 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 So when they drove that bitch down and they got the guy in the field goal range, I was so lit.
You was living?
But like here's the thing though, motherfucking oh man. Yeah, this game was very was a roller coaster of emotions for me.
And Joe Flacco, 374, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. At one point, it was like 3 interceptions, no touchdowns. It was looking kind of rough.
Facts. There was one interception. It was so bad because like Jit was open. It was in the red zone. Oh man, I can't forget who it was. Possibly the Joker. And Jit was open, but he threw it too late. Even the announcer said, "Oh, you got him." He threw it like a half second too late. Take that bitch back.
Yeah, and then there was the 45-yard interception return. That one wasn't good. Like touchdown, pick six. It was 17-7 going into the fourth quarter. Bears winning. At that point, I thought the game was over. Like just because the way Flacco was playing. But then fourth quarter sparked something in that boy Joe Flacco, and Amari Cooper down the sideline for like 50-yard touchdown where he just cuts up and no one's there. Then the game winning drive, like he's hitting like fucking. It looked like prime Joe Flacco. He's hitting like 15-yard throws, 20-yard throws, like no timeouts necessary because they're getting out of bounds. I'm just like, yo, this is why when I picked him, I said I'm gonna ride with Joe Flacco till the fucking wheels fall off, and it was a fun ride. That was a good roller coaster.
I respect you, man. So yeah, me personally, I'm gonna get off that shit. But I will say that it was a fun ride because Joe Flacco pulled something out. I want to say they said that was like his 26th career game winning drive or some shit like that, or comeback drive type shit. So I respect it. It was fun. It was a fun game, but boy, that was too close for comfort for me. I'm getting the fuck up out of that. And the fact that the run game wasn't there too much in that game, this entire game, I was just like, oh, yeah, this was scary.
Moving on to 2-1 with Joe Flacco. I can't read this. Imagine a world 2023 with Joe Flacco as a starting quarterback for a playoff squad. We're talking playoffs. We're talking about Joe Flacco starting quarterback for a team.
Playoff Joe Flacco is different. If he pulls that character back out, that mythical creature back out, that'll be something dangerous.
And I'm okay with watching my Browns not being in last place bets die if it's Joe Flacco the one burning them.
They your Browns now?
With Joe Flacco at the helm, it damn sure is.
But I know how you love you some Deshaun Watson.
So when he's back on there, I'm a Joe Flacco fan. I'm just following my boy.
I respect him. He was screaming he deserves his contract back in 2011.
The boy what did he get? One of them.
A lot.
Next game, we had the Chiefs beating the Patriots 27-17. But we kind of touched a little earlier when I said like it was a ball game, halftime 14-10. And then the third quarter is when the Chiefs just ramped it up. Bailey zapped throwing a costly interception in the third quarter to start off half too. Like it was the same thing of last week with the Patriots. They got all their scoring done early, and then their offense just completely fell apart in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, literally, that's the best way to explain it. They came in, they looked like there was a competitive game for a little bit, and then the Chiefs just left them.
Yeah, they just turned the little dusters on.
And then I will say that the Chiefs didn't look fucking phenomenal this game. They still had like the same mistakes. Kadarius Toney drop turned to an interception. Like these still having the same mistakes, but just the Patriots just aren't there right now. And
He has two interceptions on the paper, but there was a third one that got called back for a bullshit ass defensive holding. That even the commentators were like, "That's not. There's nothing there."
mm,
Kelsey dropping that touchdown too. Like they're just not looking like the same.
mm, it's you could call it Super Bowl hangover. You could call it people having them figured out, or you could just call them that they just need a revamp when it comes to personnel. But they got to figure it out.
In our next game, the blowout, 45-29, 49ers beating the Cardinals. I mean, I told you to take the 11.5, and it definitely covered. Brock Purdy throws 4 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey scores 3 touchdowns, 2 over the air, 1 on the feet. And the case for CMC to be MVP is kind of growing again as the season comes to a close.
Oh, 100%. And the touchdown when he caught it, like he was like leaning, he was going backwards and fell, and he got up and scored. On the Manicast, he explained that like he would turned around because he thought he was about to start jogging back because he thought Brock Purdy got sacked. So when he looks back and he sees the ball in the air, he just immediately starts tracking that bitch and catches that hook and gets up and scores. And I was just like, wow, just
On the
momentum.
fly.
Yeah, just the mental capacity and the instincts. You're just a different type of human. And he works so fucking hard. He's a problem.
Yeah, and the only thing that anyone could ever say was the injury bug. But on the 49ers, he does not look like that's an issue at all.
I mean, we're gonna knock on wood for sure, but like he just looks like when he's playing the game of football, there's not too many better.
And then um, another loss for the Cardinals. They're still in the pick. They're in the hunt for the number 1 pick still.
Mm-hmm. I forget who else did. There was another good play that I liked on Tre'Davious Ward, the defense. That's what makes the 49ers so powerful. The offense the offense is good. Brock Purdy's holding it down. I don't think he's a system quarterback. He's a quarterback that probably wouldn't look as great if he didn't have as many weapons that he does. But you can't be mad at somebody for being blessed in this situation and taking advantage of it. And the defense. There's so many different leaders. Like the safety Tre'Davious Ward. I'm gonna say that name so many times because like that pick six was so clean. But like there's just so many ways they can fuck you up that like this team is the number 1 team in the NFC and it's gonna be like that going into the playoffs.
There's a pick six, and then he gets one later in the game as well, in the game with 2 interceptions. Like, there's no weakness right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then arguably the number 1 offense in the NFL since week 12, since the bye, the Rams beating the Commanders 28-20. They're averaging like 30 something points a game right now, 400 yards of offense a game. But they beat up on the Commanders at a certain point. I'm not sure if Sam Howell got hurt or if Sam Howell was just not playing. I think he was not playing well, but he didn't finish the game. Jacoby Brissett came in and scored the 2 late game touchdowns to bring it to 28. It was 7-28 in the fourth quarter, with like 8 minutes left before Jacoby Brissett came in and cut it down.
I was like, I definitely didn't have a chance to peep this game, but like, you know how I love me some Jacoby Brissett. What the fuck went down?
But like I said, it was third quarter. First off, Kyron Williams, 152 rushing yards and a touchdown. Cooper Kupp, 111 yards and a touchdown. Stafford, 258, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Puka, 5 catches, 50 yards. Like, Kyron Williams had 2 fumbles that he lost this game. But you wouldn't be able to guess that by like how great like they put up 28 and they only had 7 before the backup came in the garbage time to score 2 touchdowns. Like they had turnovers, but when they didn't turn over the ball, it led to touchdowns. And and their offense is their team kind of remind me of the Lions, where it's in that situation where like the only thing stopping you is turnovers. And the offense since week 12, they're averaging like 30 something points a game. Like their only loss in that since that little span was the loss to the Ravens in overtime, where they still put up like 31 points.
Yeah, yeah. I could agree with that. So we think the Rams is a playoff team.
They're 7-7. They're in the playoffs. I mean, there's who do they have left on the schedule? They got the Saints on prime time on Thursday night coming up next week.
And
Also
that's the
seven
person
and
they're
seven.
tied with. Yeah, as I
Yeah,
said, they're tied.
and then after that, like their next two games, they have to win, in my opinion. They have to beat the Saints, otherwise they'll be below the Saints, and you can't be below the Saints because y'all all tied for that last spot in the playoff race. And then you play the Giants. You probably should win that game, but your last game of the year is the 49ers.
Yeah,
And
so you better go 2-1 home.
yeah, you got to win these next two. Maybe you luck out and the 49ers secure the number one seed in the NFC and they're playing backups for that last game. But you can't rely on that.
Nobody blow your ass up. Ain't no such thing as a backup coach.
Yeah, Sam Darnold came in for the end of that 49ers game and he looked fucking good. He was like 2 for 3 for like 20 yards.
Yeah, that's it. They'll figure out a way to blow your ass out. I do want to see Kyron Williams getting dubbed though.
Yeah, I mean,
Get a grow.
fantasy football winner because he definitely wasn't drafted in almost no leagues. So like he was as a free agent pickup off the waiver wire that might carry your ass into the playoffs going into championship
Literally.
week.
Literally.
And then the ass whooping at 4 o'clock, the Buffalo Bills beating the Cowboys. We both took the Cowboys here. And 31-10, it wasn't even a ball game, bro. Like it was. My dad even called me afterwards and was like, "Bro, that's just fucking disgusting. That was just fucking. You can't even call that a football game."
It happens. I mean, they had like three different rushing touchdowns. They were running all over the place. James Cook, 25 rushes for 179 yards and averaged 7.2 yards a carry. Josh Allen had 8 rushes for 24 yards. Latavius Murray got in there. He's got 11 yards and a touchdown. Oh man. I mean, they ran all over the boys. Josh Allen said that I feel like the kid that joined that came in for the group project, all he did was put his name on the group project and got an A.
Yeah. Hey, but this is Josh Allen didn't make any mistakes, did he? Nope. And the Bills dominate.
I mean, I was say, yeah, I was say he only threw that bitch 15 times. Like if they go, what you telling you saying that they need the Jimmy G their way into the playoffs?
Jimmy G your way into the playoffs, bro. You just took on the number one offense in the league. And their only touchdown came with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Facts. I mean, their defense was solid this game, and the Cowboys have shown that if they have to go to San Francisco to play a game in the playoffs, they're not looking in the same like they do at home. Like this team is not the same team on the road, and the Bills showed that shit.
Yeah, definitely did. And I was talking down on the Bills, but now I thought the Bills were dead. But they're showing that like they're adapting.
Yeah, and like even in the preview where I said like, yo, I would love to pick the Bills in this one. I think the Bills, out of all the teams that are doing well to end the season, the Bills are playing the best. They're beating the best names, and they're playing the most cohesive team ball, and they're doing whatever it takes to win every game. But it's not just doing the same thing, not just redoing the same game plan hoping it works. Like we're seeing that's not the case for the Eagles. So the way that the Bills are been playing these last few games, if they come in with this same momentum in the playoffs, they could turn back into this AFC Championship team that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, no, 100%. And AFC stacked, so they needed to get this win because now they're 8-6. If they're sitting at 7-7 right now, they still have to win out.
Yeah, 8-6 is a very, very comfortable thing. And the Cowboys have a very tough schedule coming up, I believe.
Let me see. They play. Yeah, they got Dolphins Christmas Day. They got the Lions and then the Commanders. So two very tough teams.
Yeah, and then the Bills have.
They have us for the final week. and Chargers and Patriots.
Yeah, so the Bills, there's a good chance the Bills can go 2-1 and hold that down. The Cowboys got to fight for their lives.
And yeah, because well, not as hard because the Eagles lost also this week, which does save them, but they
Yeah,
definitely can't afford another loss.
hell yeah.
But then our next game, prime time, Ravens beating Jaguars 23-7. Trevor Lawrence, two fumbles in the game, two missed field goals in the red zone. Then they like fucking they had three red zone trips and scored nothing out all three of them.
That's hurtful.
Yeah, Ravens put it on them defensively. Offensively, did enough. Like this is, in my opinion, Lamar's best rushing game. It probably is statistically, but I just know that was the first time I felt like I was seeing him like do Lamar things, rushing the ball. Even though he was leading all quarterbacks in rushing yards by like a wide margin, I just felt like I wasn't seeing it. Like I saw the numbers, but I wasn't seeing it in the game factor. And this is the first time I saw like Lamar be Lamar.
Yeah, I mean, they paid Brody the bag, so they need him for as many games as they can. You feel me? So the way that he rushed the ball, I think he looked very smart while rushing that thing. Like he really he's learning like what angles. It looks like the way that he goes, he knows what angles he doesn't want to get hit at. So he kind of cuts around and dances a little bit and finds a way to keep going because he still gets tackled. It doesn't slide every fucking rush, but he's just such a pure rusher and it's so smooth. That's why when people be talking about Jalen Hurts is one of the best rushers. I'm like, Jalen Hurts Loki isn't even the best rusher in the league right now at quarterback, even though he is pretty fucking nice with it. But like you said, man, this nigga's pushing his ass cheeks for the first down versus Lamar over here getting swifty, doing things in the pocket. Don't get me wrong, Jalen Hurts does that shit too. I'm just saying, like niggas be forgetting about Lamar.
Yeah, I think it hurts is at three behind Allen and Lamar. I think like Allen will run through you, Lamar's gonna run around you, and then Hurts kind of does a little bit of both. Like he merges both a little bit.
I think this Hurts squat 730 pounds. Like that's the legend right now. So like he's a motherfucker that's just tough to tackle.
Yeah, it's the running back legs.
Hmm. But yeah, I mean the Ravens fucked the Jaguars up. I will say the Jaguars had a lot of highlight plays like that touchdown to Agnew. There was another Trevor Lawrence when he one needed to throw that bitch deep and heave that hoe with for a prayer. Like they was coming down with it. I will say that.
Yeah, no, they highlight plays, but never actually led to points. This is the Jags. They're another team. Like the Rams, the Jags, and the Lions are on the same little boat. Where it's like you could lead into the playoffs on a high note, or you're looking red hot, or you could maybe come into the playoffs. The Rams are on the wild card hunt, but they could right now, and they're in the playoff picture. But you could come in on a low note, and it's not going to look good.
Yeah, I respect it. I mean, they can try to you can kind of blame it. You can try to blame it on Trevor Lawrence's injury, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, they do need to come. They do need to find some energy to come into the playoffs with.
And they had their fucking throttle on the standings for the playoffs because they were number one seed. Don't get me wrong, they still are the number one in their division, but now they're tied with the Texans. They're both 8-6. They just have the tiebreaker. You can't lose now. Like the Texans on your ass. Like
Right.
it's not just your division anymore. So that's gonna be an interesting race to watch.
Nah, for real. And the next games is against the Panthers and the Titans and Bucks. I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens.
And then our final game on the slate, Monday night. Oh, real quick,
Hold
Kev.
on. Yeah, before we go, I meant to bring up the bro, did you see that Justin Fields that Hail Mary? We forgot to with the Browns and
Oh, the Darnell Mooney.
yeah, bro. I was looking at this shit like, yo, bro, did he catch that? And the next thing you know, that bitch came out of his hands in a split second. I was like, that's crazy.
And then the Bears get the Browns get the interception, and they made sure that like, yeah, we got another one.
Nailed that whole kid, but that shit was crazy. I forgot to bring that up. But if he had caught that, I think the entire niggas would have had just a different tune about like the Bears this week. And I think that's so funny.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit on the best where the Eagles 10-4, all sad. Lions 10-4 is all happy, And I always say like you win, it's based on your last week's performance. Like if you would have won, all things are good on over there. Like a-okay. Even the Giants, they weren't even in the playoff picture, but they were winning with Tommy DeVito, and everyone was like, "Look at the Giants, they're back." But
Uh,
but like you that week you lose, that whole next week is gonna be all about they're dead over there. It's abysmal. They want motherfuckers fired.
facts.
And then the next game is actually about the Eagles losing to the Seahawks. The sad 10-4 right now. The Seahawks winning 20-17. I took the Seahawks. I dogged them up. Hopefully y'all listened. And Kev took the Eagles this because he thought it was gonna be a bounce back week, but Eagles once again another loss in a row. Jalen Hurts 2 interceptions on the game. One of them was the game clinching interception, which arguably might be the best interception on the year. That I don't even know how he got his fucking second foot in. That toe tap was ridiculous.
And the way he read that fucking play too.
Like mid-air turning his body, and it still somehow finds a way to put the toes in. That's good. He knew where he was on the field. That's smart play right there.
Nah, yeah, I love to see it, man. I mean, you got to remember that this I was watching this game and I was watching this anime movie called Spirited Away at the same time. Because I really thought the Eagles had this like bagged up, secured. They got the first rushing touchdown, nice. They got the field goal, okay, cool. Going to halftime with the lead, and the next thing you know, they go into the fourth for 17-3. Everything's straight. Okay, the Seahawks. And then next, the Seahawks get some points. So now it's 17. They get some points at 17-13. I'm thinking everything Gucci. Man, Drew Lock throws this bitch up twice. From first to DK, DK cuts it up, right? And the next thing you know, the Eagles feeling themselves. They call man, and Drew Lock literally looks at Jackson. I'm not even gonna try to say his last name. Jackson says, "Yo, bro, if it's 1-on-1, I'm giving it to you each time. Safety, safety. I want to say the safety blitz or the safety came down, and it was 1-on-1. Motherfucking Bradbury and Jackson. Jackson got the step, and Drew Lock placed that ball so nice. And when I look back at those two plays, I was just like, what the fuck? You should have seen Peyton Manning and Eli Manning on the Manning cast. They were going crazy. So like there's nothing but I want to be mad about this game, but I'm just like the Eagles did what they could to win. They've showed what they've been doing all year, the bare minimum, and they didn't look great. They didn't look good at all, and this is just one of the games that they lost because there's a lot of games like this where they could have lost. And more than anything, Drew Lock's post game interview was phenomenal. He was like, "Yo, bro, I got traded here. Every week I'm kind of on the bench watching these games, and you start to ask yourself after a while, you start asking the question like, yo, can I still play in this game? Can I still play in this league? Can I still do this thing?" And then he came in last week and he was like, I think I can do this. And then come in this week and get the win. I want to be mad that I lost my fucking pick. And this is the pick that decided the fucking week for me. But I'm kind of like, I'm inspired by the way Drew Lock came and won this game. And that's all you want to do in this league. You just want to win the game because winning is so hard.
Yeah, and crazy note was one thing in my group chat they were talking about first touchdown scores. I thought it was gonna be DK because I thought DK was gonna go off like 102 touchdowns. But it wasn't DK. It ended up being Hurts. And then right after the Hurts touchdown in the first quarter, they were like on some wild shit. What do y'all think is gonna be the last touchdown score? No hesitation. I immediately I said Jackson Smith and Jigba. Just I
Oh,
had
wow.
a weird gut feeling. I was like, I thought it wasn't gonna be a game winning one, but I thought they were just gonna have like the ball, they score again, and the DK already got his, so they let Jackson do it. But it ended up being the game winning touchdown, 30 seconds left, and Pete Carroll back against the wall. He's known for as a motivator, like that. He and not an X's and O's type of coach, but a motivator of men that gets you to run through a fucking wall. And that's what he's doing with the Seahawks team. They're sitting at 7-7. Geno Smith hasn't played in a couple of weeks. When he did play, it was banged up because he was trying to force it. Like they're still sitting at 7-7. I don't think a lot of people had him at this point being this high, but Just right there in the playoff picture. Another team in the NFC, then at 7-7 is their host of the playoffs is still alive.
This is crazy. I mean, we'll see. If they can keep on stringing along wins, we'll go. But I'd love to see the Seahawks play in the playoffs, especially if Geno Smith can come back healthy.
Uh, and oh, I want to bring this up before we head out. This will be one of my final things before we leave. Did you see what Jameis Winston how he walked into the game for the Saints against the Giants?
I didn't even know he played.
He didn't play. Derek Carr was the player, but Jameis Winston is known as like he every week he's doing something on the sideline, whether it's hyping up a teammate, doing this. Never lets him be in the backup discourage him ever. He comes in this bitch fitted out, big ass briefcase, but bedazzled ass briefcase. Briefcase looked like it cost a couple racks, right?
Mm-hmm.
They saw him walking in. There's a little strut with his briefcase. Apparently, he's one of the leaders on the team when it comes to speaking. So he in the locker room pregame, he was like telling them like, "I got what's in that briefcase that separates us from greatness. Like, don't worry, guys. What separates us from greatness, I brought it in that fucking briefcase." So then he's getting everyone hyped. He opens up that fucking briefcase and there's nothing in there. He goes, "Nothing fucking separates us from greatness. We're gonna and
I
fucking
ain't gonna lie to you. I would have blew the fucking Giants out, kid.
fucking bar."
What? We would have fucked the Giants
Bro,
up.
like before you walking out, I was like, "Oh, fucking jumping."
Bro, you would have seen the aura coming from us when we walked out of what? That's fine. That's fine. You know, I hate the Saints, but that was fine. I ain't gonna lie to you. I do love me some James. I actually found a clip of all his funny moments. And the funniest one is always the man. I was actually talking to Coach the other day, and he said, what did he say? Man, he said, just be prepared. Just be prepared.
That natural leader, bro. Leader of all men, bro. I enjoyed Jameis Winston to this day. And just like that, those little stories I be hearing, I'm like, yeah, I believe every fucking one of them.
Right. And never forget the time when he fucking tore his ACL or like Achilles or something and was in the locker room dancing on crutches at the end of the game.
One of the other ones was his FSU days, and he was part of the people that got suspended and couldn't play the games. He showed up full pad and helmet at the game. They had to coach that time. You can't no, you can't play. He's like, "Oh, me? Oh, I thought you meant like the other game." So shit. Like James Winston's always been a funny dude.
But I'm crying, man. I'm not. If we had time, I would tell you the behind the scenes story of the crab leg situation. Since when I was in high school, I met the athletic director. That was the at FSU, and he was telling me everything. And I was like, I would love to tell my homies this. This is a story I kept down low. It's so funny. It is hilarious.
Let's save that one for another day.
Yes, sir. But that's how we come in, man. Damn, totally blitzed. Week 15, Paul. We on to the next one.
On to the next one. But yeah, thank you all for listening. Go down, like, and subscribe. Comment your thoughts on week 15. Let us hear what separates you from greatness. We want to hear
Nice.
Yeah, we want to hear it. But I'm Paul Pickham Winham. I'm joined with Kevin Waterboy Savoy. If y'all didn't know, but now y'all know, motherfuckers.